Hi, I'm Anthony from Demute, and I'm going to present you the Ambiance Creator. So the Ambiance Creator is a tool for Reaper that has been designed to create ambiances quickly and to be also reusable across projects with a preset system and a modular system. So let's just deep dive. So first, let's show what the tool is capable of. So just choose a preset you did, you load, everything appear, you define the time selection, and you create the ambience. That window pops. Here is normal. I will explain you what it is later, but basically it's to fix the routing to be sure that each parent and the master has the correct amount of channels. Boom. Now we have nice seashore. I can do the exact same with another, let's say, winter forest. Boom. So that's the goal of the tool, just being able to reuse ambiances we already created. You can also load parts of the ambience by just upload a group or a container. So you can also split an ambience you did and reuse only component of it of the ambience. So that's the main idea. Now let's check how to create modules. So first you need a group and a container. So we'll probably create a bed and we'll see what is going to be. Okay, we have here a nice night bed. And yeah, that is nice. It could be for a one shot, for example, and we can have the crickets. Okay, so we can start with that. So here I have the night bed. It is here. It is nice. And maybe we need to first we want to edit, for example. So you can, of course, just use the sound as it is. Here it's very well edited. Why not? But for example, here the sound is almost 300 seconds. Maybe you just want part of it. So you can also just create an area manually or different areas. And these areas will be used for the generation. So now that these areas exist, if I generate, only this portion of the item will be used in the timeline. But what you can do also is, okay, say I want just pieces of this sound, like pieces of 10 seconds, for example. And this will generate all these small pieces. And for the crickets, you can do the same, or you can also, for example, use a only portion of that sound. So yeah, here for detection, for example, it doesn't work that well because it's maybe too short. But maybe you want just chunk like this. So if you generate right now, we have that, which is not very interesting. But usually for the beds, if you split them like this, probably you want them to overlap. How to do that? You can go here in the main settings of the group, And you just in the generation setting, you choose the absolute mode. Absolute mode will use that value precisely to generate the item. And that value is between the end of an item and the beginning of the other one. And you have a variation value and also a direction for the variation. So here, if we use a negative value, the item will start to overlaps, which is perfect. And we don't want these randomization parameters, which are the pitch, the volume, and the pan. We don't want that on the bed. For the crickets, maybe this fits what we want, but just for the sake of the video, let's say that we want actually a quad. So first, the window appears because we suddenly create two tracks, and this one is for the LR and this one for SRS, which means that now the parent needs to be updated. I mean, the channel of the parent's channel needs to be updated. So this is why this opens. And you can see there is errors, parent insufficient channels. You can fix them individually, or you can fix all issue here. Now, the routing is fixed. And we can do the same for here. So we can use auto-optimize. We'll use the more logical way to dispatch the sounds. This is nice. Run robin will use when you will do all the track one by one and then start again. Random is actually random, and all tracks, it's one generation. All the parameters are applied by tracks and not on the entire group. Perfect. Can control the volume of all channels. And let's override the settings. Maybe we can check the different modes here. So absolute, we already see it's the value between each item in seconds. Relative is the same idea, but it's a percentage value, which means that value depends on the time selection. Coverage. The coverage value is the percentage of the time selection you want to be covered. And it takes in account the area of the items. The chunk mode is very similar to the absolute mode, but it adds silence between each chunks, which means that you can create, for example, this kind of stuff. Voila. So chunks of sounds actually can be very useful for here the crickets. Why not? It can be used like this. The noise. So the noise use actually a noise and purling noise. You have different seeds and you can move all the parameters, and you have a preview here with the dots of where the items will be generated. And you have also the Euclidean mode. So not suitable for this kind of sounds, but it exists. So it will use, you can create patterns actually. You can stack them to create complex patterns. And I will show you with another example, but if you use that on a group, and you can also control each individual children from the parents. So you can create a pattern with all the children, which is very nice. Yeah. And then on the other parameter, we have, of course, the pitch and volume. Here the pan is disabled because we are in quad, so we don't want the pan. And the fades. So you can control the fades by percentage of the item. And you can also drive the curves. If you right click, you have presets of curves. Or you can choose also in seconds. It's not going to work here because they all have different lengths. Voila. And for let's quickly show the Clydian. So here, for example, I have a drum, and on the drum, each children has its own button and his own circle, and you can create patterns this way. Yeah, I don't remember how it sounds. Oh yeah, so the fix issue, because previously we had 4 tracks, so now it fixes the session. So it's not an ambience, but it can be used for sound design and for trader. For example, if you want to put sound on the timeline, but with certain pattern, play with the music, if you know the BPM, stuff like this. For birds, if you want to artistically create an ambience with rhythmic patterns, this mode is probably the best one. Voila. So, of course, you saw me load mainly global presets, but you can save preset at each level, which means that each group can be saved. So if I load that, for example, I will load a whole group. This one is empty. But yeah, there. But you can also, let's say that you just need something small, or you want to compose a new ambience, you can just add a container, and from that container, you can use previous containers and recreate an ambience from that. Yeah. So here, boom, I can load the presets, and I can do that and recreate a whole ambience from previous one. So voila, that's the tool. Thank you. Bye bye.